For one glorious day, I am running the A's. Well, actually, for about the next 20 to 25 minutes. Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. My name is Booney, one name, all passion, no sugarcoating. I'm a lifelong A's fan who has spent the past season covering this team every single day, post-game breakdowns, prospect deep dives, roster decisions, and all the chaos in between. And in the offseason, we are still covering the A's every single day. I don't show up with corporate talking points or highlight real cliches. I show up with honesty, edge, and the perspective of someone who refuses to let this team be treated like an afterthought. If you want blind optimism, look elsewhere. If you want truth, fire, and a voice that actually cares, welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team, your A's every single day. Today's episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you will get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. On today's very, very special Locked On A's, I'm running the A's. I'm running the A's for a single day. Actually, for about the next 20 to 25 minutes. And running the A's for a day feels like being handed the nuclear codes with a sticky note that says, don't break anything. But that's exactly where I find myself, sliding into the GM's chair. I'll be firing off calls to front offices across the league like a man possessed. I'll be chatting with rival GMs about blockbuster ideas and have a call scheduled with John Fisher himself. This isn't fantasy camp. Well, that depends on your definition of what fantasy camp is. This is me putting the franchise on my back and telling every executive in baseball, if we are doing this, we are doing it loud. And once the dust settles, I will be presenting to John Fisher himself. I am laying it all out, what we need, who we should chase, which offers are worth the risk, and which moves might actually put this team into relevance. This wasn't about dreaming. This was about taking the chaos, the vision, the urgency every fan feels, and I will be dropping it right on Fisher's desk with a simple message. We can do this if you are finally ready to act. First, I'm walking into the virtual GM office with a shopping list that would make half the league sweat. Extend the young core, reel in Zac Gallen from Arizona, and pry Ke'Bryan Hayes out of Cincinnati. I've got approximately $30 million in wiggle room and the confidence of a guy who thinks he can negotiate his way out of Alcatraz. That's the mission. That's the madness. And yes, we are doing it all on air. And before we get rolling, a quick my bad. Last week's episode, the Boris Barrier, tackled how tough it is to lock up players represented by Scott Boras. I lumped Nick Kurtz into that group, and that's on me. That was incorrect. Shea Langoliers is a Boras client. Nick Kurtz is not. My mistake, my bad, and consider it corrected as we plot out which young stars we are cracking open the safe for next. Oh, I think that's the boss. I'll see you in a minute.
Bunny, let's get this over with.
John, how are you? I'm ready to step in as your general manager today, even if it's only for a quick shift.
Today, Bunny, you're my GM for about 20 minutes.
Booney.
That's just enough time for you to cause chaos, start a couple Twitter fights, and record another podcast arguing with Sully. If Locked On hasn't fired you by then.
Started the fights with me.
So let's not waste time. What's your plan?
I got a plan all set up for you, John. I want Zac Gallen from Arizona. He's a legitimate frontline starter if he is healthy. And instead of spreading our money around all across the board like we did last year with Severino, Leclerc, Urias, Urshela, a bunch of mid-tier moves, I'd rather make one meaningful impact. And I want to trade for Ke'Bryan Hayes, best defensive third baseman in baseball. Team-friendly contract, and the acquisition cost shouldn't gut the system. And of course, I wanted to look into our young core. If there's enough money at the end of the rainbow, I want to extend the youngsters. But first and foremost, Zac Gallen. I want Zac Gallen.
Zac Gallen? Bunny, are you hearing yourself? I'm not signing anyone to long-term commitments. And Ke'Bryan Hayes?
Yeah.
Sure.
Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Great defensively.
Sure.
And if you think you can pry them away from the Reds for nothing more than a reliever, go for it.
I will.
We spent around $100 million in actual cash last year.
I get it.
With Langelier's arbitration now in the mix, we're sitting near $71 million already.
Right.
I need to get payroll to roughly $110 million, just to keep people from acting like I've set the franchise on fire.
Got it.
So here's what you're focusing on.
Okay.
Kurtz, Soderstrom, Wilson. Figure
All right.
out a plan for them. No long-term deal for Gallen.
Got it.
This isn't fantasy baseball, Bunny.
I understand.
You've
Booney.
got 20 minutes, Bunny.
Booney.
Go solve the franchise.
Hello? Hello? He hung up on me. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you for making Locked On A's part of your everyday routine and your first listen. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you are not yet an everydayer, please hit that subscribe button. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. If you do reside in the state of Nevada, we are on Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. on Silver State Sports and Entertainment, Digital Channel 5.2, and Cox Cable Channel 77. A's fans, there's a brand new way to live this wild, wonderful ride with me. I'm inviting you to join the Locked On A's subtext community, a fresh extra layer of connection for those of you who want to go deeper, laugh harder, argue smarter, and live the green and gold life with a little more juice. The link is sitting right here in today's show notes on YouTube and wherever you listen to the podcast. Tap it and you are in. Here's what makes this thing special. It's you and me, one-on-one. Text conversations about everything from the rookies smashing expectations. We talk trade thoughts, memories, questions, wild predictions, you name it. You get early reactions, behind the scene musings, fan giveaways, thought drops, and all the bonus material that doesn't always make it to the show, but absolutely deserves daylight. This isn't replacing the podcast. Nothing changes here. You still get Locked On A's every single day, loud and proud. This is simply more for those who want more. A tighter circle, a louder voice, a front row pass to the heartbeat of A's Nation. Try it free for 14 days if it's your vibe. It's $4.99 a month after that. If it's not, no hard feelings. We keep living our lives same as ever. That did not go as planned. All right, let's focus here. What is the message I got? No long-term contracts. I need to get to 110 million, which means I have about 39 million I need to spend. First and foremost, I need to get Brian Hayes. He makes sense. Justin Sterner for Brian Hayes. It makes sense for both teams. Let me get Nick Kurtz, president of operations for the Reds, on the phone immediately.
Booney, the locked on guy. What do you got?
Nick, I got Justin Sterner, 3.18 ERA in 65 innings pitched in 2025. Durable, reliable, 29 years old. More importantly, 6 more years of team control.
Booney, I've heard every version of this pitch. Let's walk through it slowly.
Okay.
If you're calling me about a player, I expect clean logic, real value, and no fairy tales.
I got you.
I'm not moving a controllable asset for the sake of headlines. Show me where this makes us better, today and 2 years from now. If you can't justify it, we're done. If you can, then let's get to work.
I have the plan all set up for you, Nick. Brian Hayes, he is due $30 million over the next 4 years. Fans are not happy with him, and he isn't hitting. On top of that, the kid, Stewart showing he is the real deal. You can play him at third. You can play him at first. You need bullpen help, hence Justin Sterner. You take the difference between Sterner's salary and Brian Hayes' salary, which is approximately $6 million. And then you go out on the free agent market and you sign maybe a Eugenio Suarez, a Alex Bregman, maybe even a Ryan O'Hearn. They definitely come a lot cheaper when you take Brian Hayes $30 million over the next 4 that he will be making. Your lineup is considerably better, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Brian Hayes for Justin Sterner.
Yes.
We love Brian Hayes. Are you making this trade offer, or is Twitter making this trade offer?
Come on.
He is the best defensive player in all of baseball.
Agree.
Let me ask you, why do you want Brian Hayes?
Nick, we're in Sacramento for the next 2 years, and in order to get any free agent to come to a minor league ballpark, we have to pay about a 35 to 40% premium. We need infield help. Brian Hayes is the best defensive player in all of baseball. And obviously, yeah, we love his contract, and it fits exactly what we are going after at this time.
Exactly. So why would we give him up?
Because you're improving your team by using that money to sign somebody else. Brian Hayes, again, do $30 million over the next 4. You got the kid. Hayes ain't hitting. You need somebody else to strengthen that lineup. Use that difference in the money. Use that difference from Hayes and Sterner's contract and put that towards a slugger. Nick, it's a slam done. Let's get this deal done, man.
We would want Soderstrom, and maybe we will...
Soderstrom? Are you absolutely nuts, Nick? You want Soderstrom and whoever else you were about to throw in for Brian Hayes? That is crazy, Nick. I'm giving you a deal of a lifetime. Hello? Hello? Well, the 2 free agents I wanted to sign the most, Brian Hayes, Zac Gallen. No long-term money for Zac Gallen. And Brian Hayes, it sounds like the Reds are going to hang on to him, just like Jeff Carr said from Locked On Reds on yesterday's show. Now what do? I got to get some players. I got to spend this money. Can I extend our young core, Soderstrom, Kurtz, Wilson, with the money I have available and enough money left over where I can actually improve this roster? Let's check it out. Well, guys, I have figured it all out, and now it's time to make the final pitch to John Fisher. Let's get him on the horn.
Bunny, what do you got?
It's Booney, one name, and I got it all figured out for you, John. We're extending Kurtz, we're extending Soderstrom, and we're extending Wilson. And I have a plan to sign players who will help us next year, not only to win the American League West, but also to compete for an AL pennant. Here's what I got. Starting pitcher. This is the kind of move where you stop pretending you are hunting for value and actually invest in a pitcher whose ceiling is higher than the Tropicana's catwalks. A pitcher who's hungry, a pitcher who's pitching angry, a pitcher who wants someone, anyone, to stop treating him like a rehab coupon and start treating him like a frontline starter again. And the best part, John, he's gettable. Very, very gettable. I'm talking about Tyler Mahle. It's exactly the kind of bet a smart, scrappy, fed-up franchise makes when it's done rummaging through the bargain bin and finally decides to shop like it has a plan. And since I'm the GM for the day, clipboard in one hand, caffeine jitters in another, the case for the A's signing him isn't just compelling, John. It's screaming at us like a closer who didn't get the save call.
Interesting. Continue.
Tyler Mahle is a perfect A's play. It has A's written all over it. The hungry comeback ace. Mahle just clawed his way back from multiple setbacks and is finally healthy. And what did he do when he first came back from all his injuries? He shoved 6 strikeouts, no runs, 1 walk, 4 hits, and the confidence of a man who knows what his next contract depends on. Being healthy and being dominant right at the finish line. His own words at the end of the Rangers season. I wanted to put myself in a position to pitch in the postseason, to go into the offseason healthy is big. What's the translation right there? I'm starving. Feed me innings. Feed me opportunity. Feed me a franchise that's going to let me attack the zone without worrying about my job security. That's us. That should be us. This is a guy who posted a 2.34 ERA in his first 77 innings of 2025 before the shoulder hiccup. You don't accidentally fall into that. That's ace level stuff disguised as a reclamation project because baseball has the attention span of a fruit fly. And the contract gets it done for the A's. His current market value sits around $5.5 million for 1 year. That's the 1 year prove it deal teams hand to guys with a good arm and a medical chart that looks like a CVS receipt. But if you want to beat out the other clubs who'll sniff around, if you are the A's who play their home games in Sacramento, we have to give him more, something that he cannot refuse. 2 years, $16 million. Year 2 is a player option. And why this works. We're giving him security. After 2 injury-shadowed seasons, that matters more than sunshine in July. He gives us upside, the chance at a mid-rotation stud for the price of a mid-reliever in a big market. The player option is a win-win. If he dominates, he opts out and gets paid. If he stabilizes as a number 3, number 4 type of starter, we've locked in a quality arm for peanuts. You want to talk about responsible spending? This is the version of responsible that actually helps you win baseball games. Let me put it bluntly. We do not need 5 more inning eaters. We do not need another parade of 4.9 ERAs. We do not need to keep pretending the depth approach is anything but a polite way of saying we're hoping for miracles. We need someone with bite, someone with something to prove, someone who takes the mound with, "I'm better than your scouting report says," tattooed across his forehead. Mahle's mindset is perfect for this roster. He wants the ball in meaningful games. He wants October. He wants to rewrite his history, not patch it. You pair him with a Luis Morales, with a Jeffrey Springs, with a Luis Severino, and suddenly the rotation has shape. identity. Imagine entering 2026 with Kurtz locked in, which I will get to, Soderstrom locked in, which I will get to, and Wilson locked in. Yes, I said it. And I'll get to all three in just a couple minutes. That's how you build towards Vegas 2028. That's how you stack chips instead of collecting coupons, John. Mahle's the type of pitcher who hits free agency undervalued and leaves free agency looking like the steal of the winter. The kind of guy we used to find before every other team read the same analytics handbook. Give him 2 years. Give him the player option. Give him the runway to be the pitcher he believes he is and the pitcher we need. And since I'm the GM, for 20 minutes, this deal gets done in the first 5. Next. Gregory Soto isn't just a bullpen arm. This is a bet on volatility, velocity, and revenge. And those 3 things play beautifully in a ballpark that eats timid pitchers alive. Soto's market value sits around 2 years, $14 million, a modest little neighborhood for a guy who touches 100 with ease. He carries late inning experience and scares hitters simply by walking toward the mound. That price is the MLB version of going to a steakhouse and ordering off the kid's menu. He's worth more. We should pay way more. And in order to attract Gregory Soto to Sacramento, this is exactly what we need to do. 2 years, $20 million. That's the offer. Let's be honest. Our bullpen has been a revolving door of maybe this guy figures it out. And please, baseball gods, let this one throw strikes today. Soto changes that equation. Yes, he's erratic. Yes, he's been bounced around by a Mets team that collects relievers like garage sale knickknacks. But the man has stuff. Not promising stuff. Not good for a lefty stuff. I'm talking bone-cracking, bat-sawing, dugout silent type of stuff. He was an all-star twice for a reason. He didn't luck into that. He overwhelmed people. Here's the truth. Guys with his velocity don't stay cheap forever. They only hover in the discount section when inconsistent command gives GMs cold sweats. But in short bursts, in the 7th, 8th innings, when hitters are guessing, pressing, and hoping they don't leave with a souvenir bruise, Soto is exactly the kind of weapon you unleash. 2 years, $20 million. And no, he is not our stopper. We stay with a closer by committee. When was the last time this worked? Yeah, I'll tell you when. 91, the Nasty Boys. Dibble, Charlton, Myers, 2 lefties and a righty. And we got the exact same type of deal once we signed Soto. Perkins, Harris, Soto. Yeah, the Nasty Boys, part 2. We have to extend Sean Newcomb. He had a hell of a year coming out of the bullpen in 2025. He wants to be a starter. That's fine. We need to give him every opportunity to do so. Now, other teams in the market want Newcomb. We'll pay him bigger money in order to come out of the pen. We're going to give him the opportunity to be a starter. We're going to give him 2 years, $8 million, second year player option. Hey, if he is that starter he thinks he is, that second year he can go out and get starter money. If he's not, we send him back to the bullpen. And he's still that lefty specialist we had last year. As far as our infield needs, since Ke'Bryan Hayes basically will not come to the A's, we're going to sign a scrapper. Jose Iglesias, a guy who makes contact, a guy who causes havoc, a guy who shows up every day to play. Now for the big part. Kurtz, Wilson, Soderstrom. Nick Kurtz, we extend through 2034 with a player option of 2035. This contract looks very similar to Roman Anthony, except slightly more money and 1 more year added. We give him a signing bonus of about $9 million for 2026, making his total salary at $10 million. 27, we go down to 4, 28, 8, upwards to 15, 19, 23, 25, 29, and 32 million. And again, a player option for 2035. Tyler Soderstrom, 2026, $5 million, which includes a signing bonus. $3 million, $5 million, $12 million, 17, 21, 24, and 27 with a player option in 2034 of $30 million. And Jacob Wilson, $4 million, which includes his signing bonus, $2 million, $5 million, $9 million, $15 million, $18 million, $22, and $25 million. All the signings I have talked about. Tyler Mahle, Gregory Soto, Sean Newcomb, Jose Iglesias, extending Kurtz, Wilson, and Soderstrom, you're at a cash payroll of $110 million. Now remember, $15 million can potentially come off the books next year with Jeffrey Springs, and you have $22 million coming off the books in 2028. It's all lined up for you, John. This protects you over the next couple of years. And if you intend to spend, like you said you would, in Vegas, we're home.
Not bad, Bunny. Not bad at all, Bunny.
It is time to make this franchise relevant again. You got to put some money into the advertising. You got to pull off the move with Kurtz, Soderstrom, and Wilson. And you also have to put this team in a position to win next year. They're that good. And you cannot make the same mistakes that you did in Oakland. What's done is done. But you have a roster right now that, if you go with my blueprint, is set to win next year, is set to win in 2027, 28, and beyond. You have a potential dynasty here, John. Money's going to be flowing in like no tomorrow. But you got to pull the trigger. You got to get it done. And if you stick with your old ways, we're back at the same old A's.
Well, Bunny, your big mouth has always gotten you in trouble, and it doesn't fail here. Bunny, I have been waiting for 20 minutes to do this. You are fired.
Hello? Hello? And there you have it. I'll be back with you tomorrow with another Locked On A's. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow.